Um, okay, great. So Evan, you've done, this is your fourth company, third
Yeah,
and a half,
something like that.
something like that,
Yeah,
right?
fourth or fifth. Yep.
Multiple exits, angel investor. So you've got you're in the rare breed of people that has this gray beard that said, I've exited, but I've made, I've effed up many times and I've done a lot of things good.
Right.
So I always love to, we always hear the success stories. Evan exit, acquired by, Brocade and StackStorm, and then Riverbed
Riverbed,
for for Clarus, etc. Um, so give us some of the darker stories, or just some lessons you've learned in some of these days.
Sure. I mean, there's all sorts of ones. There's all sorts of ones. I remember, let's see, I remember, remember at Clarus, gosh, there's a variety of them. But, yeah, I think the more I do it, as I said at some point, the more it is around people and really trying to be just genuine and connected with people. And I'll never forget when we raised finally our Series A, which was brutal. It was 2001, right? So literally 9/11. We're raising money on 9/11. And we had no track record, when we raised the money, by the way, I said, I've never missed a payroll, but we were totally out of money. It's a tiny team. And my car got impounded because of tickets, because I couldn't afford to pay. And my co-founder's phone got turned off. But we were completely out of money. We raised the money, and then our head of engineering grabs us and says, okay, you raised money. Yeah, like we said we were going to. It's good fund and everything. He's like, okay, so just so you know, I've been through this venture thing, and from now on, it's, fucking every man for himself. And he's like a gray beard. I don't know if he had a gray beard, but he was like probably 15 years older than me and my founder. And we both looked at each other like, what does he mean? What? Oh,
Yeah,
no.
what does that mean? Yeah.
I don't know. So that was, it's a bad sign when your head of engineering tells you from now on, it's every man for himself.
Right.
But anyway,
So
we ended up doing, that wasn't a good thing. That was basically probably not providing enough context.
Yeah.
And giving them, because we were in such a desperation mode, is my excuse, so that, the care and feeding of the organization to understand what's on the horizon and why it matters,
it's tough.
was totally missing.
Yeah.
But then we had another one there where I was in really deep with Cisco, right? In fact, we were in
as a customer or as an acquirer?
As a partner. So we were in Merrill Lynch and JPMC and these Bank of America,
right?
And others, Lehman, and basically helping and we actually designed our product in part to help the Cisco enterprise sales force hit their number, right? So it had like deterministic sign-offs that you could say, okay, the deal is done, it's deployed, we're in, we're good. And they loved it. They ate it up. They built it into their anyway. And then at some point they're like, hey, you might want to invest. And I had handed over CEO role at that time to like a professional CEO who came in. And so I introduced him to the corp dev guys. They came up to the office. Like, we didn't have to go to San Jose. They come to us and they say, yep, we'd like to invest. And after that, we may buy you. We don't know, for how much, but it'd be a good, exit and everything. And so the CEO kind of keeps the meeting short. We end the meeting and he's like, next time, we have one of these meetings, bring me the real decision makers. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure they're the decision makers. But they were like my age, right? This is Cisco at that time, 28, my age then. He couldn't believe that these people were actually pulled the triggers on. Anyway, instead, we kind of used them to jack up our valuation and to raise money. And then they hired our director of product management, a couple other people, and set out to build a competitive product.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you're, if your channel, if your channel provider and their Cisco sees you as critical and you kind of piss off the people with the pocketbooks there, that's not good. maybe it's an obvious
Wow.
point, but it's like,
But
what
it's
were we
that
thinking?
directly connected. Like,
Oh no, yeah, yeah, yeah.
wow.
So there's all sorts of mistakes made. I don't know if there's
Interesting.
any
That's a
lesson
tough
learned
one.
from that one.
Um,
I think mainly I had to have more chutzpah, right? To just at that point, I shouldn't have let it slip. I should have just grabbed the CEO, you know, right then and said, "Look, it's right now. Like these are the people. The people you just had the meeting with. They're the people." And in fact, they went and bought a month later a managed service provider for IP communications. A couple of months later, I don't know, out of Austin, Texas, for hundreds of millions. And it was that guy. I mean, he was the guy quoted. Like these are the guys. Like you just pissed off $350 million, right, for a Series A company. It's great valuation that we could have exited out maybe. And but I didn't. I was intimidated by this guy. It's almost like the CEO was sort of gaslighting me, like where I was letting myself be like, wait, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these aren't the people. No, they were the people. So that's
would you have hired that professional CEO in retrospect?
no, no.
Yeah.
He went to business school with one of the investors,
Yeah.
and was buddies with him. So it was back then you did that more. This is before A16Z,
Yeah, with their own
like that
founders. Yeah.
saying keep the founders in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So,
It ended up working out well, and I learned a lot. And
of course.
made some money, and we became vendor of the year to Lehman Brothers and all this kind of fun stuff. But it was a good experience.
Yeah, all's that well that ends well, and you've got some gray beard
Yeah,
lessons to share.
yeah, yeah.